Hello, a very good evening to you wherever you may be, and I welcome you to the only show that brings you happenings from the diplomatic community in Ghana and around the world. My name is Harriet Nartey. I hope you are able to access this program because we are live on Facebook and of course on YouTube as well, in case you are not seated by your television set. Today on the show there is so much that we have put together and we want to share them with you. A lot did happen in the course of the week from the diplomatic community. A lot of activities. We will begin with the Ecowas summit, which saw the various heads of state coming together to discuss the political situation in Burkina Faso. And we will also have the World Day for the African and Afro-descendants culture, which was commemorated right here in Ghana, Accra. And we will talk about the launch of the diaspora flag and a lot more, so you don't have to miss the show. There is so much that we want to share with you, all from the diplomatic community. I will take a break. When I get seated, after the break, we will begin our show.
Lifestyle, health, all those everyday issues that affect us in the big ways. Wednesdays are for book reviews. Thursdays are for the hard talk, those socio-economic, policy-oriented, political questions that demand for the tough questions to be asked. And personality profiling Fridays, when we get to know the stories behind the winning personalities we love. Inspirational story from inspirational personalities. Hey, listen, you really cannot miss The Couch with me, Amma, but still the only TV show with a hat. The Progressive Woman's Show is that space for frank, open, honest, provocative, perhaps even revolutionary conversations about today's woman.
If you go to the banking sector, there are people there who want to sleep with you before they give you a job. If you want to be a teacher, if you want to be a civil servant, there is someone who will say, oh, I can get it for you easily. All you have to do is drop your pen.
It was something that was demanded of me. My editor, my news editor in the newsroom, thought if I don't pull down my skirt, I was not going to be put on air.
I am yet to come into contact with anybody asking me to sleep with him to go on TV. I will not sleep with any man for a position. I will sleep with a man I want to sleep with for the pleasure of it.
When governments come to power and they say that the women are not showing dynamism and the women, for me all that, forgive my Latin, this time of the day, all that is bullshit.
I practice public speaking in church. Okay. I practice service in church. I practice leadership in church. So those are things that's why the church is important in our lives.
And that's how you do it. It's so not buy Range Rover and do something.
That takes me right there.
In church.
When you mention Jesus, you don't have to say Jesus. You have to say Jesus.
But they say it's a man's world out there, isn't it? Unfortunately, I don't know why, because we seem to be doing all the work. Neck, excuse me, can you be a head without a neck?
No, please. No, please.
Yeah.
Well, hey, ladies, let's continue to hold up the sky. lifestyle, health, all those everyday issues that affect us in the big ways. Let's Wednesdays are for book reviews. Thursdays are for the hard talk, those socio-economic, policy-oriented, political questions that demand for the tough questions to be asked. And personality profiling Fridays, when we get to know the stories behind the winning personalities we love. Inspirational stories from inspirational personalities. Hey, listen, you really cannot miss The Couch with me, Amma Pratt. Still, the only TV show with a hat.
The world has changed. Now the new normal demands that countries look within to develop their capacities and make strides in getting their economies back on track. In all of this, diplomacy is now more than ever the bridge linking these nations as they forge ahead. Of diplomatic affairs, complex issues will be explained as I sit with global change makers to discuss the new phases of bilateral and multilateral relations between Ghana and its development partners. I will also pique your interest on the many enterprises that are forces to reckon with in their own rights. My name is Harriet Nartey, and this is Diplomatic Affairs. Welcome back from that long break. You're still watching Diplomatic Affairs with me, Harriet Nartey, and we are coming to you live from the studios of Pan-African Television right here at Abilingpe. We are streaming in over 40 African countries, and of course, we are also live on Facebook and on YouTube. So wherever you are, you can catch up with us and get to know happenings, all the updates from the diplomatic community. So we will begin our first story. Today, we have compiled all the stories. A lot did happen in the diplomatic community, and we have put all the stories together just so we can update you with what is happening in that area. We will begin with the Ecowas summit, which took place on last Thursday. And so the second extraordinary summit of the Authority of Ecowas heads of state and government has been held right here in Accra to respond to the recent spate of coups in the West African sub-region. The talks on Thursday were initiated after Burkina Faso on January 24, 2022 became the third member of the 15-nation bloc to be overtaken by the military. So Burkina Faso President Marc Christian Kabore was deposed amidst public anger at his handling of violence by armed groups. Let's take you to where the event took place. You're still watching Diplomatic Affairs with me, Harriet Nartey. As you can see, we are coming to you from the Kempinski Gold Coast City Hotel right here in Accra, where the second extraordinary summit of the Authority of ECOWAS heads of state and government is in a meeting to discuss the political situation in Burkina Faso. Let me take you inside as we listen to the chair of ECOWAS, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers, President of the ECOWAS Commission, President of the UEMOA Commission, Special Representative of the United Nations Secretary General for West Africa and the Sahel region, the representative of the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, the head of MINUSMA, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with a heavy heart that I welcome all of you today back in Accra after our virtual meeting last week. I want to thank you for your presence in this extraordinary summit, which will focus on the emerging threats in our region that stem from the military interference in Mali and its contagious influence in Guinea and Burkina Faso. Fortunately, the attempt 2 days ago, democratically elected government of President Umaru Sissoco Embalo of Guinea-Bissau by a military coup failed, and the would-be putschists are being rounded up as we meet. I speak for all of us when I applaud President Embalo for sustaining the validity of the democratic institutions of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau. Your presence here is a strong indication of your willingness to find a sustainable solution to the resurgence of the canker in our region. Let us address this dangerous trend collectively and decisively before it devastates the whole region. Excellencies, the resurgence of coups d'etats in our region is a matter of grave concern. This evolution challenges the democratic way of life we have chosen. We need to stand firm to protect democracy and freedom in our region. You'll recall that during our virtual summit held on the 28th of January 2022, we suspended Burkina Faso from participating in Ecowas' institutions and requested the immediate release of President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore, who was detained alongside other political actors. During our summit, we reaffirmed our commitment to upholding the principle of zero tolerance for ascending to power through unconstitutional means, and therefore demanded an immediate restoration of constitutional order by the military. To assess more accurately the security and political situations in Burkina Faso, we agreed to dispatch 2 missions, respectively, the Committee of Ecowas Chiefs of Defense Staff, led by the Ghanaian Chief of Defense Staff, on Saturday, 30th January 2022, and a joint ministerial delegation led by the chairperson of the Council of Ministers, the Ghanaian Foreign Minister, including the President of the Commission and the UN Secretary General's representative for the Sahel and West Africa, on Monday, 31st January 2022. Their reports have been submitted for our consideration. Excellencies, I commend our continental body, the African Union, on its firm decision to suspend Burkina Faso from participating in AU organs and institutions, in alignment with the decisions of the ECOWAS authority on the situations in Mali and Burkina Faso. The African Union expressed strong support to the efforts of ECOWAS in addressing peace and security challenges facing the region, including the resurgence of military coups. This is the solidarity and international coalition that are needed to halt the political turbulence in our region and the continent at large. Excellencies, in this extraordinary summit, we'll also examine the recent development of the situations in the Republic of Guinea and the Republic of Mali. I hope that our discussions will provide informed decisions that can reverse the deteriorating political trajectory in our region, characterized by democratic setbacks and the fragility of our security systems. I wish us fruitful deliberations and hereby bring the opening ceremony of this extraordinary summit to a close.
Right, so that was the Ecowas summit, which brought together the various heads of states of Ecowas meeting to discuss the political situation in Burkina Faso. All right, so let's move on. Our second story, which is the 6th region of Africa flag, which has been launched right here in Accra. Now, the 6th region of Africa flag has been launched at the W.E.B. Du Bois Center in Accra with a call on African governments to continue to deepen and, where possible, formalize their relationship with the diaspora. The African diaspora was officially named as the 6th region of Africa in 2003 by the African Union. This recognized the significance of the global African diaspora community and also encouraged their participation in the continent of Africa.
The history being made. We have over 50 plus organizations all over the world that has endorsed this flag. This flag is an initiative of us, the diaspora. The African Union in 2012 proclaimed us as the 6th region of Africa. And this is in a beginning of that process. We are now have our own flag, which represents us in the 6th region. I just want to say thank you so much to Ambassador Claudia, who is the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps.
As the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, I feel privileged and honored to be today, this morning, in a historic event that marks inclusion, that marks love, that marks togetherness for the African family around the world. Today, with the unveiling of perhaps the most important symbol of the African family, we are opening a new era in the relations between diaspora and homeland. We, the members of the Diplomatic Corps, wish to congratulate the wonderful team that together worked to make this day possible, and I am referring to several people, some of them present and some of them not. I wanted to mention the great former president of Ghana, His Excellency John Kufuor, a leader who spearheaded the vision and the heads of states of the African Union that adopted years ago the decision to create the 6th region of Africa for the diaspora family, as well as the outstanding and magnificent Ambassador Dr. Erica Bennett, the head of the Diaspora African, which is the only mission of its kind worldwide. As a Colombian, I wish to transmit the saying of one of our Afro-descendant leaders, a historian and a researcher, Dr. Alfonso Cassiani, who said, and I quote, "The diaspora is this that we are celebrating today is the most significant event of this century, since it commits the African continent that is homeland to a greater, deeper relationship between the continent and all of us, recognizing us as their sons and their daughters." And I close, quote, "Finally, I want to congratulate in a very particular way also somebody that I don't see today here, but I want to mention him and is President, our friend Kwame Addo, that is a very good friend of Colombia. And okay, I now I'm happy because Professor Kwame Addo, we recognize him as an architect of development. In Colombia, we have experienced your intelligence, your creativity too, in many ways. So I wanted today to congratulate you and to reiterate on behalf of Colombia also our friendship, our admiration and respect. And today, our congratulations for designing this magnificent symbol for the diaspora of the world. Thank you so much.
Today we light a beacon to alert all the children of Africa, home and abroad, that the circle has been completed for us to usher in the new dawn beginning and a new beginning for our people. The 200 million Africans and people of African descent, the hoisting of this flag marks a symbolic spiritual return for all our people, and also for us to recognize that Africa can never move forward without acknowledging all its parts. This moment that we're here celebrating is in line with the vision of our forefathers, forebears, ancestors. This was the vision of luminaries like Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois, whose space we are here celebrating and commemorating this day. Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Haile Selassie, and also the vision of our former president, President Kufuor. So today is a day that we all know that the new Africa, the seed of the new Africa, has been born in us. And that seed has to grow into a big tree that will provide shade not only for people of African descent, but also all of humanity. So I would like to see everybody raise their flag, because we are here for this purpose. We are here for the symbolism, a tangible symbol of the connection of the spirit of Africa to itself, by recognizing the diaspora, by recognizing our brothers and sisters who were part of us, but through history were scattered to the winds and thrived in many places. But our commemoration today is that they've never been forgotten. They've always been part of it. So as we step into a new future, and as we stand on the sacred grounds of Ghana, the doorway to Africa, on February 2nd, 2022, we make the pledge that the new Africa will be a united one of the continent, the diaspora, and important partners, so that Africa takes its role among nations of the world.
Ideas and circumstances which have been brewed over many years. As has been earlier said, I'm a development architect, so I've been dealing clearly in developmental issues and how to integrate all the components of, in this case, of our continent. The flag, which obviously is first and foremost coming to pose as a source for our identity, which is going to give a direction. We should know that this whole trajectory began from the 1900s with all the Pan-African movements from near and far, and has then metamorphosed into today, where we can visualize and see a singular symbol which has the African map as its backdrop, with the 5 regions, economic regions: West Africa, North Africa, Southern Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, all of them with their divides. But we now have described in the global image, coming with thrust, bringing hope, coming to illuminate the continent and activate a new African Renaissance. It is about time the issue of development is brought to the fore. And the diaspora comes in with its strength, with its know-how, its knowledge, and of course, experience. Each of the 5 regions have got a lot to offer. West Africa pulling all its resources together. North Africa energizing for growth. Southern Africa, economic minerals coming to bear. East Africa, the seed capital. And of course, Central Africa, the ecological center, giving us the lungs of the continent. With all of these, we now see a complete Africa with the stars which are embedded in each of the components or the economic blocks are now being embraced by the diasporan star, which embraces and touches the continent as it streaks with illuminating light. I'd just like to end by simply saying that, of course, we can say a dream, or for that matter, a culture, is only as great as a dream. And dreams today have been dreamt by all of us here, and we are glad to see this idea come to fruition. Thank you very much.
Today cements the vision and sacrifice of trailblazers such as Dr. Erica Bennett and others, notably His Excellency President John Agyekum Kufuor, under whose leadership the Diaspora Africa Forum gained prominence and recognition. For over a decade, the Diaspora Africa Forum, as a progressive organization, has worked tirelessly to change the antiquated views about the African diaspora. Beyond DAF's political and diplomatic advances since its establishment, it believes that greater trade and investment underpin the new Africa and diaspora narrative. At GIPC, we believe in the power and potential of the diaspora in unlocking opportunities presented in Ghana and the continent. This belief led GIPC to establish the Diaspora Investment Desk in 2020 with a firm mandate to harness the promise we all know exists and to mobilize the diaspora to invest in Ghana. The desk undertakes several engagements locally and internationally to achieve its many objectives. These objectives anchor on trade, investment, tourism, knowledge, and skills exchange. Building on the success of His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's Year of Return initiative in 2019, the patronage of the diaspora is now abounding. Today, the question is no longer about the willingness of the diaspora to build cultural and economic ties with the continent, but on how the diaspora mobilize funding for projects, invest in the abundant opportunities, and build the Ghanaian future together. This ceremony is a stark reminder that our work is incomplete and serves as a catalyst to do more. At the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, we remain a committed partner in supporting the Diaspora Africa Forum to enhance its economic cooperation agenda with Ghana and Africa.
Now, that's part of the Pan-African movement to integrate diasporans in the development of Africa. Now, away from that, Ghana a few days ago played host to the World Day for African and Afro-Descendants Culture, and we were there to capture the entire event just for you. The 2022 edition of World Day for the African and Afro-Descendants Culture has been held in Accra under the theme African and Afro-Descendants Culture for Peace and Sustainable Development. A colloquium was held at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly Conference Center to discuss the integration of African history and culture into school curricula. Take a look.
Privilege really to be able to be here today with you on the World Day of African and Afro-Descendant Culture. Observed globally on the 24th of January, the World Day of African and Afro-Descendant Culture brings us together to recognize and celebrate our rich and vibrant cultures and to promote them as an effective lever for development, dialogue, and peace. My brother Abdul here is consistently arguing the case that culture is at the heart of development and that we must use it as an accelerator to achieve the sustainable development goals. And days like today are really important days for us to reflect on this important thought. By doing so, we're inspired to promote global solidarity that is so urgently needed in these perilous times. The presence of all of us here is a testament to the importance of our beautiful African and Afro-descendant cultures. I wish to congratulate the government of Ghana for hosting the 2022 global celebration and express my sincere appreciation for the collaboration between the UN and partners, including the government, civil society, the private sector institutions, and a raft of other stakeholders who don't normally appear under those headings to observe this day. United Nations commitment to the people of African and African descent, as well as its commitment to the ideals of the UN Charter, is reflected in commemorations and initiatives such as the Day of People of African Descent in August, the International Day of the Remembrance of the Slave Trade and its Abolition, and the International Decade of People of African Descent, and the International Decade of, and the International Day of Peoples of African Descent. These days recognize and highlight the contributions of the African diaspora that so sadly often goes unnoticed. They also serve as a reminder of the cruel inhumanity of the transatlantic slave trade in the past and the dangers of racism, prejudice, and racial discrimination that exists today.
I am elated to be here speaking on behalf of the Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture, Dr. Awal Mohammed, at such a particular important event where our beloved Ghana is hosting the World Day for the African and Afro-Descendant Culture 2022. I wish to express my profound gratitude to UNESCO for selecting Ghana as a host nation for such a landmark celebration. This honor conferred on Ghana, I humbly suggest, is well-deserved, since the President of Ghana has shown his own volition started an agenda to unite the diaspora with Ghana. Ghana's commitment to highlighting the contributions of culture of the African continent and the African diasporas around the world, as well as their role in driving sustainable development and dialogue, have been very apparent in the initiatives of the President of Ghana. It was with this spirit the government of Ghana launched the Year of Return celebration in the year 2019. The second initiative, Beyond the Return, a sequel of the Year of Return by the government of the day, was designed to promote, foster unity, and bring development to Ghana as His Excellency Nana Addo recognizes the talents, skills, and contributions economically, and otherwise that members in African diasporas have that are useful to building up local communities and economies. This is why Ghana, under the Beyond the Return, has put together a 7-point roadmap strategy to make this dream a reality. Experience Ghana, promote Pan-African heritage and innovation, invest in Ghana, diaspora pathway to Ghana, give back to Ghana, celebrate Ghana, and lastly, brand Ghana. The government of Ghana has further deepened its commitment in achieving the African Afro-descendant culture, bilateral cooperation by putting before Parliament a home return bill which seeks to legally integrate Africans and the diaspora into the Ghanaian society. The bill, when enacted, will recognize the spiritual and moral obligation of Ghana as an African nation in facilitating the return of diasporas and will remove impediments in the acquisition of property, residence, or citizenship by descendants of Africa who were enslaved and children of Ghanaians living in the diaspora.
JMCA is a legitimate driving force for a new Africa, represented in her rights and values, an African that connects its daughters and sons everywhere in the world. For our information, at the request of our NGO RAPEC, the permanent delegation of Togo to UNESCO submitted a draft resolution to the Executive Board concerning the adoption of the World Day for Africa and Afro-Descendant Culture on 20th November 2019. I'm sure we've heard about this. And 193 member states of UNESCO adopted the resolution by acclamation and therefore recognized 24th January as the official and formal date in the United Nations official calendar for celebrating JMCA. Distinguished guests, the JMCA Mobilization Committee, the NGO RAPEC, and my humble self will be happy to see the elected representatives of the Republic of Ghana proclaim 24th January as the date registered to celebrate the JMCA in the national schedule of events. This will make your distinguished country the first English-speaking nation in Africa to open up this bridge between the daughters and sons of Africa and their descendants towards an effective integration of our people all over the world. I think this is something that we should cherish and acknowledge. I send my most sincere appreciation to all volunteers in Ghana who are the main driving force for the mobilization. RAPEC and the World Day for African and Afro-Descendant Culture would not exist without them. May God bless and protect you and your loved ones. We express our profound gratitude to RAPEC JMCA representatives in Ghana, led by Mrs. Justine Ntuvi. We remember the contributions of Umar Diang, Oxborn Yao, Guillem Lacley, our brother Francis Abanhagen, and all members of the Dreams team. We also remember our goodwill ambassador, Rocky Dawene.
Right, so that was and Afro-Descendants culture celebrated right here in Accra. This initiative is to celebrate humanity and the many vibrant cultures on the African continent. You're still watching Diplomatic Affairs with me, Harriet Nartey. I will take a break. When I come back, I will present you with the last story for today's episode.
Lifestyle health, all those everyday issues that affect us in the big ways. Let's Wednesdays are for book reviews. Thursdays are for the hard talk, those socio-economic, policy-oriented, political questions that demand for the tough questions to be asked. Our personality profiling Fridays, when we get to know the stories behind the winning personalities we love. Inspirational story from inspirational personalities. Hey, listen, you really cannot miss The Couch with me, Amma, but still, the only TV show with a heart.
The Progressive Woman's Show is that space for frank, open, honest, provocative, perhaps even revolutionary conversations about today's woman.
If you go to the banking sector, there are people there who want to sleep with you before they give you a job. If you want to be a teacher, if you want to be a civil servant, there is someone who will say, oh, I can get it for you easily. All you have to do is drop your pen.
It was something that was demanded of me. My editor, my news editor in the newsroom, thought if I don't pull down my skirt, I was not going to be put on air.
I am yet to come into contact with anybody asking me to sleep with him to go on TV. I will not sleep with any man for a position. I will sleep with a man I want to sleep with for the pleasure of it.
When governments come to power and they say that the women are not showing dynamism and the women, for me all that, forgive my Latin, this time of the day, all that is bullshit.
I practice public speaking in church.
Okay.
I practice service in church. I practice leadership in church. So those are things that's why the church is important in our lives.
And that's how you do it. It's not buy Range Rover and do something.
And do what? Text me right now.
In church.
When you mention Jesus, you don't have to say Jesus. You have to say Jesus.
But they say it's a man's world out there, isn't it? Unfortunately, I don't know why, because we seem to be doing all the work. They are the head and we are the neck. Excuse me, can you be a head without a neck?
No please, and no please.
Yeah.
Well, hey ladies, let's continue to hold up the sky.
The world has changed. Now the new normal demands that countries look within to develop their capacities and make strides in getting their economies back on track. In all of this, diplomacy is now more than ever the bridge linking these nations as they forge ahead. Of diplomatic affairs, complex issues will be explained as I sit with global change makers to discuss the new phases of bilateral and multilateral relations between Ghana and its development partners. I will also pique your interest on the many enterprises that are forces to reckon with in their own rights. My name is Harriet Nartey, and this is Diplomatic Affairs. Welcome back. You're still watching Diplomatic Affairs live on Pan-African Television. Now to our last story for this episode. The Ghana South Africa Business Chamber has held its annual general meeting to discuss business and the way forward. Ghana and South Africa are working closely with applications to deepen economic growth between the two countries. This was made known at the annual general meeting and networking event to give an update of the past year and also discuss some new initiatives that would see businesses thrive. Addressing the gathering, the South African High Commissioner to Ghana, Her Excellency Grace Mason, disclosed that talks are ongoing to waiver visas between Ghana and South Africa to foster business and people-to-people relations for their mutual interest.
Of this AGM, as it provides an opportunity to engage with you, with the corporate community who has thus far survived the pandemic, and I'd like to thank you profusely for your resilience and hard work, and also just weathering the storms of this global pandemic. I'd like to also thank you that your presence here today is testimony of your agility and the innovation you have applied in embracing this new normal. Let me also congratulate the leadership of the Chamber for their continued support to the business community throughout 2021. Despite the tough prevailing economic conditions, we also thank you for your partnership with the South African High Commission in our role in also providing post-investment support to our corporates in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, as we commence this year, 2022, I wish to briefly also just reflect on the highlights of 2021. And I'd like to commence with the recent state visit by the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa. The South African High Commission collaborated with the Chamber to plan and implement a successful visit in December 2021. And once again, I wish to thank the government of Ghana and the members of the Chamber for their support during the state visit. It was indeed a successful and impactful state visit, as our respective presidents strengthened economic and political bilateral relations by signing memorandums of understanding in the fields of agriculture, transport and aviation, and migration matters, as well as a letter of intent for advancing women and youth matters. I also wish to report that the much anticipated visa waiver was not concluded due to some outstanding technical matters, and it was also agreed by our respective heads of state and government that this will be signed virtually in due course.
The post-COVID challenges, and I know given some of the very interesting discussions we've had already, I think our members will benefit from our exposure to you, so we do welcome you. In terms of our outreach out of Ghana, we do want to have a Pan-African approach. Clearly we focus on South Africa, but not only. And we have Sylvia and Joy from Top Report. If you guys can just wave. Let's welcome them, everyone. Probably one of the top business and trade magazines, both digital and physical, for the continent. We are partnering with the Chamber and with you. And again, I think our members stand to benefit from all the exposure that we will get through your publication. We are lucky, John has alluded to it, that the energy and the enthusiasm that our young and dynamic ambassador brings to our community. She's constantly engaging with us and pushing us to be creative and come up with new, fresh ideas. And on one of the visits to her beautiful residence, she said to me, "Grant, come and have a look at this tennis court of mine. What do you see?" And I said, "Well, I see a tennis court." And she said, "What else?" I said, "Nothing." She said, "Exactly. I'd like this tennis court to be used, please." So I'm happy to announce a fresh initiative. As a response to some of this positive encouragement from Grace to find new ways of promoting cultural exchange, we've come up with 2 tennis tournaments. The first to be named the Grace Mason Challenge. It couldn't be anything other than that.
So that's all we have for you on this episode of Diplomatic Affairs. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will be doing more of stories from the African continent, yes, West Africa, and of course the African continent, like I did mention when we started this season of Diplomatic Affairs. So there is so much. Wherever you are, if you have stories in the diaspora and you want to share with us, please feel free to follow us on our social media pages and share your messages or anything regarding this platform, and we will make sure that we put it on our platform for you right here. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Diplomatic Affairs. I look forward to seeing you same time next week. Enjoy the weekend.